Hi folks, Sonia Ash here with another Ash Design tutorial. Today I want to show you how to use our brand new Photoshop action called Edgy Sports Effects. This action will help you get that cool gritty effect that's been made so popular in sports photography. So let's jump right in. You can see here we're using our powder explosion baseball template, and we've got our cutout image already in here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to load the action. Let's go open our action palette. Go up to Window, Actions, and here you'll see your action palette. So we're going to go ahead and load that action. So click on these three lines up here, come down to Load Actions, and then navigate to the action, the Edgy Sports Effect, and you will see it right here. What I like to do next to make it real easy is to set my action palette to button mode, and then it shows all of my actions in here color-coded. The Edgy Sports Effect will go to the very end of your action palette, so we can see it down here in purple. So let's go ahead and just click on it to run this. And we get a message here that tells us to be sure that you have the correct layer selected that you want to run this Edgy Sports Effect on. So I can see I have nothing selected over here, so I'm going to hit Stop. I'm going to select my cutout layer because that is what I want to run this Edgy Sports Effect on. Then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to resume the action by hitting that button. Now what this is going to do is it's going to create a couple of layers for us that we can go back and edit. This action, by the way, will run in CS2 and all versions of Photoshop CS2. All versions of Photoshop Elements and Photoshop CS2 and newer. CS2 was put out in like 2005, so this is pretty much going to run on anyone's version of Photoshop right now. So anyways, here's the message that appears after the action is run, and it gives you instructions on using it. You also have a user guide which includes all of these instructions included in a text document which you can print out, which might be easier for you. And that's included with your action as well. So we're going to go ahead and hit Continue. And you can see that we've got two purple layers that have been added to this template. And you can also see that we've taken on quite a transformation here. So you're going to have one layer, it's your large effects layer, and what that's going to do is it's going to control the contrast of your athlete. And then we also have a small effects layer, and what that's going to do is it's going to control the sharpness or the gritty details of your athlete. So let's zoom in a little bit here so that we can sort of see the differences. If we shut this off altogether, we'll see our original photo. And just go back and turn on the large effects, and you'll see the extra contrast I put in there and how it, some really nice effects up here in hair and skin. When we add in the small effects and turn that layer back on, then you'll notice the sharpness, the sharp details and the grittiness. Now, it may work for your photo perfectly just like that, but what I want to show you is how you can actually come in and you can edit these. So let's say for your large details, your contrast, you want less contrast. A couple of ways you can do it. You can double click on this high pass filter here. It's a smart filter, so it lets you edit this once again. We set it at 50. Let's try lessening that, and let's say bring it down to 25 and watch what it does to your photo. You can see how it really removes some of the contrast from that photo. The other thing you can do is you can bring it up to say 90, and you can see how the contrast affects your photo. I think 50 is good, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to leave it right at 50. Now the other way we can affect this contrast is we can adjust the opacity. So let's try bringing that opacity down to say 50. And you can see how that changed it. Now it lessens the contrast, but in a different way. So that's entirely up to you how you want to adjust your contrast. Same with the small effects. The small effects, if we edit this high pass filter, you'll see the small effects are set to about 4. You're going to want a real small number for this. Let's try putting that at, let's try putting it at 10 and see how it affects the image. And you can see that, you know, you're losing some of those, you know, sharpened areas. Let's try putting it at 2. And then you can see the real difference. You know, the hair's got a lot more finer details and that sort of thing. So again, this is subject to taste. I think 4 works good for most of my images, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. But again, you also have the option of reducing it or increasing it. You may think maybe you want that to be a little more gritty. One way to get it more gritty is just to duplicate that layer. And you'll see how this really sort of intensifies it. And that actually gets a little bit too gritty for my taste, but you know, you may think, well, let's put that at 50%, and that may work for you. So now you can see how to use this Edgy Sports Effect action, and the different ways that you can manipulate it through either editing the high pass filters or using your opacity. So go ahead and get some edgy sports effects on your athletes.